So we were saying our album was doper, but we were saying it New York slick. Like we had some slick talk coming out our mouth.
Right.
Hammer thought we were talking about us f***ing his mom.
So basically he came with Hammer like, hey man, in this LA and everything, man, and things can happen, you know what I'm saying? You to holler at me, man, you know what I'm saying? Holler at me for protection. Hammer said, protection for what? See, man, I got 12 bodyguards out there.
Do you go with Suge? He's like, well, he's a gangster. You don't want to get killed. Do you go with Easy? You hear all the stuff talking about, oh, he was taking the money. So we thought, oh, we'll go with the church boy. We'll go with MC Hammer, but he was the most gangster one of all of them.
What's up, Tupac? What's up? What's up, man? What's up, Hammer? All right. Come on, son.
Most people, including Suge Knight himself, once thought MC Hammer was just another flashy rapper in shiny suits. But Suge quickly learned Hammer wasn't someone to play with. This was the same MC Hammer that MC Search confirmed once put a hit out on his group, Third Base. Wild, right? Even Hammer's former guitarist claimed he once made a feared Crip gang leader back down and stay quiet. That's not the image people had of a clean-cut pop rapper. This side of Hammer had everyone stunned. Then there's Lamar Lubin, who confirmed Hammer wasn't just tough talk. He was the real deal, calling him a straight-up, bona fide bad guy. People started to realize the man behind You Can't Touch This was way deeper and far more dangerous than anyone expected. Suge Knight and MC Hammer's history went way back to 1988, long before Death Row Records became infamous. Their bond grew even stronger in 1994 when Hammer dropped The Funky Headhunter, a gritty, harder-hitting album that showed his darker streetwise side. Off that momentum, Hammer made a major move, signing with Death Row in 1995. Suddenly, he was working alongside the biggest heavyweights in hip-hop. One track that really stood out was Too Legit Playa, featuring Big Daddy Kane and Danny Boy, a collab that shocked the whole industry.
Definitely do it, man.
Hammer, you feeling nice?
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, me and Suge go back 10 years, so it's another day.
If you look back at old footage, you can actually catch glimpses of MC Hammer and Suge Knight hanging out. But what really grabbed people's attention was how tense Suge always looked when Hammer was around. The guy who made the whole rap game nervous suddenly looked uneasy himself. And that made everyone wonder, why would a dude famous for shiny pants and wild dance moves have Suge Knight of all people looking nervous? Well, here's the truth. Hammer wasn't just about choreography and catchy hooks.
But Mike says that he can control it and that they shouldn't worry because the only thing that will happen is they'll just break our legs. But we'll still be able to do TV from the waist up.
MC Hammer was there. That approached me. He was like, Red, I'm gonna tell you something, you young, but I don't allow nobody talking about my mama. You understand me? I said, yes, sir.
Behind the bright lights and smooth moves, he had real street roots. People who crossed him learned fast that he wasn't one to mess with. Hammer had serious connections, real deal respect from the streets, and a loyal crew that was ready to ride for him, no questions asked. It wasn't just rumors either. The whole MC Hammer versus Third Base situation proved it loud and clear. Even Suge wasn't the only one who saw that edge. Plenty of people during Hammer's peak era misjudged him, thinking he was soft, only to find out the hard way that Hammer could flip the switch quick.
So we were saying our album was doper, but we were saying it New York slick. Like we had some slick talk coming out our mouth.
Right.
Hammer thought we were talking about us f***ing his mom.
The real drama started when Hammer dissed Run DMC and Third Base decided to clap back even harder. In their track The Cactus, they didn't hold back. They went after Hammer personally, even throwing shots at his mom. They dropped a bold line saying the cactus turned Hammer's mother out, which was a slick double entendre, referencing both their 1989 Cactus album and Hammer's own hit record from that same year. Things got personal fast, and that's when the tension exploded. That line, "turned this mother out," hit deep, and Hammer didn't take it lightly. Neither did his family, especially his brother Louis Burrell, who was known for stepping in when things got real.
Yo, his entourage was something like I never seen in my life. Like it was literally
100 people.
more than 100.
In a 2015 interview with MC Search, a member of Third Base finally spilled how wild it got when their crew was flying to Los Angeles. While they were mid-flight, Def Jam president Carmen Asher Watson got a terrifying call. A voice calmly asked, "Is Third Base on their way to LA?" When she said yes, the caller, who claimed to be Louis Burrell, chillingly replied, "Good, they're dead."
And here's somebody say, is Third Base on their way to LA? And she goes, yeah. And the voice says, good, they're dead. This is Louis Burrell. And hangs up.
Wow.
That shook everyone up. According to MC Search, this wasn't just talk to scare them. It was serious. He said that fellow Def Jam artist Eric B. personally told him there was a $50,000 hit on Third Base, allegedly set up to be handled by members of the Los Angeles Crips. That rumor spread fast, and nobody was laughing anymore. Russell Simmons, the co-founder of Def Jam, wasn't about to risk anyone getting hurt, so he stepped in quick. He brought in Barefoot Boogie, a respected figure in the hip-hop world and someone the streets knew not to mess with, to protect Third Base during their stay in LA.
And Eric B. basically puts a feeler out and finds out it's true, that there's a hit out on Third Base with the Crips.
Even with Boogie keeping watch, though, the air was thick with tension. One day, MC Search and his girlfriend tried to chill at a local mall while Boogie shadowed them from a distance. Everything seemed normal. Fans were coming up, asking for autographs, until a crew of Crips suddenly appeared.
And I started to look up, and there's these dudes coming from south and west, and they're just walking over, whatever. And I'm signing autographs, and I look up, and I'm signing autographs, and as they get closer, the dude over here, he pulls the rag up. Dude over here, he pulls the rag up. And as they come up to me, Pookie whistles. Everything stops. He throws up some signs. It's one dude right in front of me who's got his hand on his ratchet, pulls down his mask, and he goes, yo, man, I love that record, but I was finna smoke you right now, homie.
As Search signed a few posters, the group started closing in, pressing him hard. But before things could turn bad, Boogie stepped up fast and diffused the whole situation like a pro. Everyone could feel how close it came to exploding. LA was on edge, and the beef was way too real. Instead of taking that close call as a sign to chill, MC Search decided to double down and keep the beef alive.
So I say, you know what? I said, man, if you feel like we dissed your matriarchal, that's okay, but you know what you did. You know what's going on in these streets. Why don't you man up and see me face to face so we can figure this out? Stop being a...
The very next day, during a live radio show, he straight up called MC Hammer a B and accused him of hiding behind his crew. It was a bold move, but also a dangerous one. That reckless comment didn't just disappear into the airwaves, it got noticed fast. Within minutes, the radio station's phone rang, and the staff picked up to hear a voice claiming to be from the Rollin' 60s Crips. The caller dropped a bone-chilling warning. "We're going to kill you." The whole studio froze. This wasn't a game anymore.
Live. Greg Mack, who's this? Rollin' 60 Crip, N-word, we finna kill them. Boop! Out!
Terrified and realizing the danger was real, Third Base ran out of the station, jumped into their car, and sped off toward their hotel. But as they drove, things went from bad to worse. A car full of Crips pulled up behind them, tailing them hard. The message was clear. These guys meant business. At one point, the gang members even flashed their guns, making sure Search and his crew knew exactly how serious the threat was. Somehow, by pure luck, they managed to make it back to their hotel unharmed.
I'm good. I'm not good. I've gone through 25 years of therapy 3 days a week. I am not good. I wish I could be good. But when somebody tries to kill you over a rap lyric...
But the fear hit deep. From that moment on, the group was done taking chances. For the rest of their press run in LA, Third Base stayed in disguise, kept appearances to a minimum, and avoided crowds completely. As soon as their promo work wrapped, they got out of the city fast. Even years later, MC Search admitted the experience left him with scars, the kind that don't fade.
It's this dude in his wheelchair and about 4 or 5 dudes with him, hanging out. I know they Crips because my cousins are all Crips in LA. So I'm like, there's some gangbangers. What they doing out here?
And with all that chaos, rumors started flying that MC Hammer might have had real ties to the Crips, a claim that only added more mystery and danger to his already unpredictable reputation. After all, the supposed threat came straight from Crip members, and rumors said the hit was backed by Hammer's own brother. But even with all that talk flying around, MC Hammer himself never once claimed any gang ties. In fact, there's a story that shows the complete opposite. One that proves Hammer wasn't scared of anyone, not even the most feared names in LA. Benito, one of Hammer's vocalists, once shared a wild memory from back in the day after a big event in Los Angeles. Hammer and his crew were loading up their vans to head back to the hotel when a car rolled up.
Hey, I want to holler at you for a minute, Hammer. Now, the thing is, Mike already knew who Hammer was because they did the video. We were on the same gang before. So basically, he came at Hammer like, hey, man, in this LA and everything, man, and things can happen, you know what I'm saying? You need to holler at me, man, you know what I'm saying? Holler at me for protection.
And outstepped none other than Michael Concepcion, one of the original founders of the Crips. Everyone froze for a second, knowing things could go sideways real fast. Michael told Hammer they needed to talk. He offered Hammer protection while he was in LA, warning him that anything could happen in the city and that he should keep his head on a swivel. But Hammer wasn't the type to bow down. He looked at Michael and asked straight up why he'd need protection when he already had his own squad. And this wasn't just any security crew. Hammer had 12 bodyguards, and these guys weren't your regular rent-a-cops. Some of them were legit trained fighters, real heavy hitters who could hold their own anywhere. So when Hammer said he was good, he meant it. Michael didn't like that answer one bit and kept pushing, trying to make Hammer feel like he was under threat. That's when things got tense. Hammer's bodyguards were ready to step in and handle it right there on the spot, but Hammer, staying calm and in control, told them to stand down. He didn't need to prove anything. His confidence alone sent the message loud and clear. Hammer didn't back down, not even for a second. He looked Michael Concepcion dead in the eye and made it clear that with just one phone call, he could shut the whole thing down. And the wild part? He wasn't bluffing.
You need to holler at me, man, if you don't, something could happen to you, whatever. He said, what you trying to say? He said, you need to go ahead and, take care of that and everything will be cool. He said, nigga, you trying to start straight on?
The very next morning, Michael actually came back and apologized. A move that showed just how much respect Hammer truly commanded, even from the most feared names in the streets. At his peak, MC Hammer was everywhere. You couldn't turn on a TV without seeing him in music videos, commercials, movies, and even Saturday morning cartoons. His albums were breaking records, his face was all over billboards, and he had the whole world shouting his catchphrases. From the outside looking in, it seemed like he was unstoppable, living the dream life in the fast lane, soaking in the fame and fortune. But behind all the glitz and camera flashes, fame came with its own set of problems. Even though millions of fans adored him, not everyone in the hip-hop world respected what he represented. The media, critics, and even fellow rappers started taking shots at him, questioning his style, his street credibility, and whether he still belonged in the culture he helped bring to the mainstream. Some people in the industry just couldn't figure Hammer out. To them, he didn't fit the mold. He wasn't the gritty underground rapper they were used to. Instead, he rocked colorful outfits, polished dance moves, and yes, those legendary parachute pants that made him an icon. But that clean image also made him an easy target. And then came the moment that really sparked heat. MC Hammer versus Ice Cube. In 1991, Ice Cube dropped the video for his single, True to the Game, and it stirred up major drama across the rap world. In the video, there's a scene showing a hardcore rapper who suddenly switches up, trading streetwear for a flashy red sequined outfit, symbolizing someone selling out and crossing over into pop culture. Fans couldn't help but connect the dots. That jab looked way too close to Hammer's image, and it lit up conversations everywhere. It didn't take long for people to figure it out. Ice Cube was clearly throwing shade at MC Hammer, and Hammer wasn't the type to just brush that off.
Our people looking like, yeah, I'm waiting for you to move. Hammer, hey, what's up? He said, hey, man, it's like this. I'll make one phone call, and all this will go away. And Hammer said, what's up, man? He said, man, I apologize for the thing. I didn't know, the people you knew or whatever, this and that. And I apologize for what I did, brother. It's all good. We cool. We good. And Hammer's like, yeah, it's all right.
One day, while Hammer was relaxing in his hotel room, someone mentioned on the phone that Ice Cube was spotted at Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles in Hollywood. That was all Hammer needed to hear. Without wasting a second, he and his crew jumped into their cars and raced straight to the spot, ready to confront him face to face. They caught Ice Cube just as he was walking out the door, and witnesses say Hammer stepped right up to him. No hesitation. He told Cube in no uncertain terms to never pull a move like that again. The tension was thick, and Cube, realizing exactly who he was dealing with and the kind of power Hammer carried, reportedly backed down fast, saying, "No, sir, that won't happen again." That was that. Situation handled. But Ice Cube wasn't the only one to feel that heat. The next year, in 1992, Redman found himself on Hammer's radar after dropping an intro skit called Funky Uncles on his album, What the Album. In it, a character dissed Hammer and his whole family, saying things like, "Your mama ain't ish, your daddy ain't ish, ain't nobody ish." It might have sounded like a joke to some, but Hammer didn't find it funny one bit. When Redman later came through Oakland, Hammer's people made sure he got the message loud and clear. His affiliates chased Redman and his team right out of the city, no questions asked. Redman even admitted later on that they barely made it out safely, saying, "We had to get the F out of there." That moment showed everyone. Crossing MC Hammer was a risk most rappers didn't want to take.
Are you a rapper or not?
Well, in one unescapable aspect, yes, and that is the fact that I don't sing. But in every other aspect, the answer is no, I'm not a rapper. I entertain. I say that in not meaning any disrespect to other rappers or other rap artists.
They wasn't playing. We was almost boxed in, Redman admitted years later, describing just how real things got when Hammer's crew cornered him. But that wasn't the end of their story. In 1995, both MC Hammer and Redman happened to be on set for the final episode of Yo MTV Raps. The energy was heavy, and everyone knew the two had unfinished business. Hammer didn't waste a second. He walked right up to Redman and said, "Red, I'm gonna tell you something. You're young, but I don't allow nobody to talk about my mama. You understand me?" Redman, fully aware of Hammer's street reputation and what he was capable of, didn't even try to argue. He nodded respectfully and replied, "Yes, sir." That moment said it all. Hammer demanded respect, and he got it. Later on, in a 2016 interview, Redman laughed about it, but made it clear he had learned his lesson. "I got the message. I heard about Hammer, and I seen his work. I'm good, my brother. I like the Bay Area. So F that. You're right. I won't talk about your mama." Even years later, that experience stuck with him. And it wasn't just Redman who gave Hammer his flowers. Even industry OGs like Too Short had nothing but praise.
When I did the skit, and I was like, you know what? That goddamn MC Hammer, him, mama, and the whole nine. That nigga came up to me on MTV Cribs on the last episode they had.
In a 2018 interview, Too Short talked about Hammer's influence, saying, "Hammer was a big dog. He got respect in the streets. He came from a respected crew. They handled business. Him, his brother Lewis, and the crew." When asked about those old rumors that Hammer put out a hit on MC Search, Too Short laughed it off and said the only part he didn't believe was the $50,000 part. Because as he put it, Hammer didn't need to pay for that kind of thing. His respect alone carried that weight. Hammer's reputation didn't just stay in the rap world either. It stretched far beyond music. In a 2020 interview with E40 for All Urban Central, Fat Joe even recalled his own surprising run-in with Hammer at the Las Vegas airport. And that story took people by surprise too. Fat Joe recalled that when he met MC Hammer at the Las Vegas airport, Hammer greeted him with a big smile, but made it crystal clear that he wasn't someone to mess with. Joe remembered Hammer saying something along the lines of, "You know, I get it poppin' for real." The message was friendly but firm. Hammer had no problem keeping things respectful and reminding people where he came from. E40, who was right there during that conversation, wasn't shocked at all. He laughed and said, "Well, he's from Oakland. He's from the town. He's highly respected and connected. All the fixtures and factors know him and he knows them. He rocks with everybody. He's heavy in the game. His brother's gangster. Hammer is far from soft. And Hammer's physically fit too, you know? He'll put hands on you if he has to."
MC Hammer was there. That nigga approached me. He was like, "Red, I'm gonna tell you something, you young, but I don't allow nobody talking about my mama. You understand me?" I said, "Yes, sir."
That said it all. Hammer's reputation wasn't just about fame or hits. It came from real respect on the streets. And part of that respect came from his background and the powerful people his family was tied to. One major reason Hammer had such serious street weight was because of his family's connection to Felix Mitchell, one of Oakland's most notorious drug lords. Felix Mitchell led the infamous 69 Mob, a criminal organization that dominated the drug trade in the Bay Area during its peak. At the height of his empire, Mitchell was reportedly making over $1 million a month from crack and heroin sales, controlling massive parts of Oakland, including the exact neighborhood where Hammer grew up. Even after the FBI took down Felix Mitchell and dismantled the '69 mob in 1985, Hammer and his brothers had already spent their early years surrounded by that world, a world full of power, danger, and influence. So while his public image looked polished, clean, and commercial, behind the scenes, Hammer had deep roots in the streets, roots that gave him connections most rappers could only dream of. Even though Hammer had street respect and a tough image, life growing up was far from easy.
Without spending any money, Hammer could have told some people to f him the f up. Like that wouldn't have been, it wouldn't have, I know who Hammer was affiliated with, and he wouldn't have to pay to tell somebody to f somebody up.
Born Stanley Kirk Burrell on March 30th, 1962 in Oakland, California, he came up in a big family. The youngest of 8 kids, his dad worked as a professional poker player and casino manager, while his mom held down a secretary job, doing everything she could to keep food on the table. Still, money was always tight, and times were rough. When his parents eventually split up, young Stanley and his brothers and sisters stayed with their mom in a cramped 3-bedroom apartment in East Oakland's housing projects. Imagine that, 6 kids packed into one room, fighting for space just to sleep. Life in that neighborhood wasn't easy at all, but Stanley refused to let it break him. To escape the harsh realities around him, he'd spend time hanging out in Oakland parking lots with his friends, turning the pavement into their own stage. They'd dance to beatbox rhythms, showing off their moves and making their own fun out of nothing. Sometimes they'd hustle a little on the side, selling baseballs for $2 a piece just to scrape up some extra cash. Hammer also had a creative side. He loved writing poetry and spent hours trying to copy James Brown's legendary moves. He wasn't just trying to dance, he was dreaming big, chasing a future far bigger than the block he grew up on. Then, at just 11 years old, fate stepped in. One day, while showing off his dance moves and doing the splits in the Oakland Coliseum parking lot, he caught the attention of none other than Charlie Finley, the owner of the Oakland A's baseball team. Finley was blown away by the kid's energy and confidence, so he offered him a job as a clubhouse assistant and bat boy. Funny enough, the real bat boy at the time was Hammer's brother, Louis Burrell Jr. But it was Stanley's charisma and hustle that made him unforgettable. That moment would end up being the first big break in the life of a kid who refused to be limited by where he came from. Stanley worked right alongside his brother Louis at the Oakland A's, handling phone calls and even giving live play-by-play updates to the team owner Charlie Finley during games. It was during those years with the A's that Stanley earned the nickname that would stick with him for life, Hammer. Players said he looked just like baseball legend Hammer and Hank Aaron, and before long, everyone in the clubhouse was calling him Hammer. It was also around this time that his natural showmanship started to shine. Traveling with the team, he began hosting events and hyping up crowds, earning the title Master of Ceremonies, or MC, at the team's private club events. That's where MC Hammer was truly born, the entertainer who could grab a mic and light up any room. After graduating from McClymonds High School in 1980, Hammer tried to chase his other big dream, becoming a professional baseball player. He even took communication classes while training, hoping to build a life both on and off the field. But that dream hit a wall when he tried out for the San Francisco Giants and didn't make the cut. It was a crushing moment that forced him to think hard about what came next. Growing up in East Oakland, Hammer had seen a lot of his friends fall into the fast life, hustling on the streets, selling drugs, and chasing quick money. For a short time, he even considered following that path himself, but deep down, he knew he was meant for more, something greater than the streets could ever offer. That realization changed everything. Instead of getting pulled into trouble, he made a life-changing decision and enlisted in the U.S. Navy. Hammer served proudly as a petty officer and aviation storekeeper for 3 years, learning discipline, structure, and focus, qualities that would later become key to his success. After his honorable discharge, Hammer returned home with a renewed sense of purpose. His passion for both music and faith came roaring back, leading him to form a Christian rap group called the Holy Ghost Boys, alongside singer John Gibson and gospel legend Tremaine Hawkins. They performed at spots like the Beverly Theater in Beverly Hills, blending hip-hop with spirituality, a sound way ahead of its time. Even though the group didn't take off and eventually disbanded, Hammer wasn't discouraged for long. He was determined to make it in music one way or another. In 1986, Hammer decided it was time to take control of his destiny. So he went solo and bet everything on himself. With no major label backing him, he took a huge leap of faith and borrowed $20,000 from two Oakland A's players, Dwayne Murphy and Mike Davis, to start his very own record label, Bustin' Records. That bold move would change his life forever. With that money, Hammer handpicked a crew of talented people to bring his vision to life. He brought in DJ Kevin Lone Mixer Wilson, Kent K-Dub Wilson, Too Big MC, and a fierce trio of dancers known as Sweet LD, Terrible T, and Little P. Together, they became known as Oakland's 357. This wasn't just a rap group. It was a full-blown performance unit ready to shake up the scene. Hammer wasn't playing around when it came to perfecting his craft. He put his team through intense, non-stop rehearsals, using the same discipline and structure he learned during his Navy years. He later said, "We have to keep our organization disciplined because we have goals. And in order to achieve those goals, we have to be disciplined." That mindset became the foundation of his entire empire. That same year, Hammer recorded his very first single, Ring 'Em, and dropped his debut album, Feel My Power, with the help of Felton Pilot, the musician and producer from the legendary funk band Confrontation. Together, they created a sound that blended funk grooves, pop hooks, and hard-hitting rap. Something totally fresh for its time. Hammer and his wife Stephanie hustled like crazy to get his music out there. They hit the streets every day, handing out tapes, selling singles straight out of their car trunk, and personally talking to local DJs to get airplay. It was pure grind mode, no shortcuts, no backing, just heart, hustle, and Hammer's unshakable belief that he was destined for greatness. All that sweat, hustle, and late-night grind finally paid off. Hammer's single Ring 'Em blew up across Bay Area dance clubs, becoming a certified local hit. His debut album, Feel My Power, moved an impressive 60,000 copies straight out of the trunk. No big marketing, no label backing, just pure street hustle. That kind of grassroots buzz couldn't stay underground for long. In 1988, major labels came knocking, and Hammer landed a $10 million deal with Capitol Records, plus a $1.75 million advance. He didn't just cash out. He reinvested $750,000 right back into his own company, Bustin' Records, proving he wasn't just an artist, he was a businessman with a vision. That same year, Hammer reissued Feel My Power with a few new tracks, and sales shot up to over 2 million copies. Then, in September 1988, Hammer dropped Let's Get It Started, featuring bangers like Pump It Up and Turn This Mother Out. The album went huge, climbing charts, rocking dance floors, and cementing Hammer as a serious force in hip-hop. But the real explosion came 2 years later when Hammer dropped the album that would change everything. Please Hammer Don't Hurt 'Em in 1990. The record featured the iconic anthem, You Can't Touch This, a global smash that sold over 22 million copies and turned Hammer into a pop culture phenomenon. Suddenly, he wasn't just a rapper, he was a household name, a movement, a symbol of hip-hop's crossover power. And what made it even more powerful was his message. Despite his street roots and the tough world he came from, Hammer never glorified that life in his music. Instead, he used his platform to uplift people, encouraging kids to stay out of trouble, dream big, and work hard for what they wanted. If you love diving into this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss the next one. Drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you think Hammer gets enough credit for what he did for hip-hop? And make sure to share this video with your friends who love real rap history.